Alrighty, so we've got a little bit of news. I wanted to go over this last night, but honestly, I was just super tired after the stream and a little bit unmotivated because of how poorly the showcase went for Chandler, which I'm hoping to find some actual use out of him. I'm not going to just leave it at one showcase, but either way, they did announce last night that there is going to be a live stream coming soon for the 7 Catastrophes update that's coming out next, which is kind of interesting. I don't necessarily know that it's going to be a festival or anything yet. A lot of people are just jumping on board saying that it's going to be a festival. I think it's possible. I don't know for sure. I'm hoping that it's not a festival. Last time we got a Catastrophe chapter was when Crazy Roxy came out, if I'm not mistaken, and she was a 600 banner, so I'm kind of hoping for the same. That way people aren't, like, really stretched for diamonds, considering that it's very possible that we end up getting a collaboration at the end of August, so it would be really nice to be able to save some gems there, but if it does end up being a festival character, I mean, it's a catastrophe, so maybe it would be skippable, and then you would just get a bunch of festival-like style rewards and stuff like that during the update. Who knows? But they did announce this. The other thing that I wanted to go over is they did release a set of dev notes, so mark your calendars for this. I'll definitely do a live reaction on Wednesday whenever this goes live. It should be really early in the morning for me, but either way, let's hop over to the dev notes. It's a little bit odd because this is like an end of the month dev note, whereas they typically do them towards the beginning-ish of the month. But let's read over this thing just to see what is going on. So, greetings, Knights. It's PD Coup from the 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross, the 5th anniversary Grand Festival, which introduced the final chapter of the 7 Deadly Sins and announced the beginning of the 4 Nights of the Apocalypse is coming to an end. In this dev note, we will provide more details about the content revamp we are currently planning and the chapter story update. Now let's dive into the dev notes. During the 5th anniversary update, we reorganized routine contents and made UI improvements. We plan to continue improving during the second half of this year so that these contents and systems can continue to be improved, which is good to hear. I'm glad they're not just like, okay, we gave you what you wanted and we're just done with it after that, because honestly, some of the stuff that they revamped was a little bit mediocre, let's be honest. The coin shop, for one, is... they basically just didn't do anything but just a UI update for it. I still don't really like the coin shop right now. It is what it is, but it's just not great. They did change a couple of other things, like added new stages and stuff to the Fort Solgris. I think that's okay. It's fine, I guess. It's not necessarily what I was hoping for, but then again, I mean, maybe I was just getting my hopes up a little bit too much, but I like it for the most part. There's a couple of other small changes as well. The next update focuses on improving the accessibility of the game system functions and making it easier to check the growing number of contents in the game. Okay, that's interesting. Over the past 5 years, Grand Cross has introduced a variety of new content and growth factors. In the process, content that requires a relatively long time to play, such as Demonic Beast Battle and Underground Labyrinth, was added. With the addition of various growth factors, the time to prepare elements for hero growth and setting has also been lengthened. Through this update, we have made improvements to expedite lengthy battles and simplify settings. Ooh, okay, so that sounds good to me, because honestly, like, right now, I typically, whenever Monday comes around, which is when like the weekly reset happens, I've got to do Training Grotto, I've got to do my Demonic Beast for the week, which ends up being Ratatasker because it's just the newest one, and there's not really, I already have the materials to make Holy Relics for older ones if they drop, other than cubes. I don't keep a lot of cubes on me, but Ratatasker takes forever. It's like a 30-minute process to beat just because there's so much thinking involved, so much stalling involved. The fight is agonizing. It is terrible as far as like speed goes. So that sucks. If there's Heroes Arena, I've got to do Heroes Arena for the week, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. There's a ton of stuff to do on Mondays. So, I mean, not that it's like terrible, but me as a content creator, somebody who has the time to mess with some of this stuff, I still feel like it's a little lengthy. So, I mean, obviously, I have all week to do it. I'm just choosing to do it all in one day, so that way I don't have to worry about it for the rest of the day. But, you know, regular people who are doing other stuff have, you know, other obligations and everything. You know, I could see that being kind of annoying, and, you know, a lengthy process is not really what you want to see in a mobile game where it's supposed to be kind of fast-paced, easy to pick up and put down kind of stuff. So, either way, what do we got here? So, Battle Speed X3 support. So, that is interesting. The game has only had ×2 speed for a really long time. So, taking into consideration contents that require a lot of time to play, we'll add the battle function ×3 function. Targeted contents are Demonic Beast Battle, Heroes Arena. I mean, I guess. Training Grotto and Underground Labyrinth. The fact that they're not just adding it across the board is a little unfortunate. Like, it'd be nice to use this in, like, gold farming, because obviously that would increase gold farming efficiency and stuff. I guess that's probably why they're not doing that. But, you know, I can get behind this ×3 function in these contents specifically that are typically the lengthier ones. Makes a lot of sense to me. We aim to improve the gameplay by allowing you to change the battle speed mode transition to ×3. So that is actually really nice to hear. Actually. Faster equipment stat changing. When changing the equipment options using materials like an anvil, it takes a lot of time to achieve the goal. We will improve the speed of changing stats to ensure that the process of setting up new equipment will be quicker. Okay, so it's been a really long time at this point, but it used to be even slower than it is now to reroll with anvils, if I'm not mistaken. Like when the game first launched, they didn't even have anvils for one. But once we got anvils, it was pretty slow, and then they improved the speed of it at one point. I don't remember how long it was after we got anvils that they actually improved the speed, but the fact that they're doing it again is nice. I don't particularly think it's super long. You know, it can be if you just get really bad RNG, or you're just going through a ton of anvils at one time, which I'm never saving that many anvils to really just do like bulk gear or anything, but I know that some people do that, so that makes sense, I guess. Number 3 is addition of bulk. Or costume bulk enhancement. Currently, costumes can be enhanced to the current grade's limit. We will improve it to be enhanced once to the maximum of the final grade if the materials are satisfied. Okay, so that's actually kind of nice. So I'm assuming that means if you're upgrading an SR piece or even an SSR piece, you can just immediately go, instead of just SSR to UR and then having to max out the UR piece, you can just go ahead and go from SSR to maxed out UR if you're just willing to spend the 90 materials up front. I don't recommend upgrading SR stuff because it takes way too many materials, but that's actually kind of nice. Ability to awaken directly to a certain tier. Through the past upgrade or update, we simplified hero awakening materials. We will now add a function to allow you to reach the awakening tier you want at once. The new awakening system will act similarly to the existing Super Awakening tier, allowing upgrades to be made all at once. I mean, as someone who just makes those little full Awakening stars and doesn't mess with regular Awakening materials at all, I understand that this is going to be a feature more for like newer players or people who just don't use the stars and stuff like that, but as someone who just uses the stars exclusively, this doesn't really affect me at all, which is fine. I don't necessarily have to get, the greatest improvement from any of these, but, maybe that'll help some people out. I don't necessarily think that it's, like, the biggest change or anything, but, I would recommend you just use the stars, to be honest, but I guess, I think if you use the actual Awakening materials, it's a little bit more cost efficient, but I could be wrong on that. Like, I think you get, you waste a little bit of materials by upgrading them into the stars, but I don't know. I've never actually looked into that, but just what I would think. Anyway, number 5 is artifact consecutive open function. So opening artifact card packs may be inconvenient because as of now, you can only open a maximum of 5 cards at once. So we will add the function to designate the number of card packs you'd like to open, allowing you to open multiple artifact cards at once. So the only time I ever have issues with this, if you're just saving artifact cards, I could understand, but I think one of the weekly quests that we have now gives you 7 card packs, so the fact that I have to, open 5 and then open the other 2 after that is a little annoying, I guess, but, it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but hey, every little bit helps, time saved is great, so I'm okay with that. Nothing huge, but I'm alright with it. Better delivery of information through the UI/UX revamp. Through this update, we have prepared improvements to make long battles more fast-paced and to simplify preparation. In particular, the UI/UX will be reorganized to make it easier and more intuitive to find certain information. This includes various buff/debuff details that are currently difficult to check by Demon Eye and hard to compare equipment's basic stats. Okay. If you don't know, Demon Eye is when you're holding on a character and then it gives you their stats and stuff like that. Number 1, improvement of checking buff/debuff information during the battle. UI and display improvements will be made to the information that becomes available once you activate the barrel's evil eye during a battle. This will allow you to check in detail vital information to guide your battle decisions, such as details on buffs and debuffs and currently applied to the hero. Okay, I'm not really sure how they're improving that. I'd have to see it, of course, because this doesn't really give me any information on that, but I mean, that sounds like it could be helpful. Number 2, display basic stat gauge on the equipment's information screen. When you have a large amount of equipment, it can be difficult to compare the stats intuitively since you are only able to check the stats or basic stats of each equipment with numerical values. Through this update, improvements will be made to display the equipment's basic stats in the form of a gauge when choosing the equipment. The stats gauge will be displayed externally, and parts of the UI, such as the existing change stats button, will be modified. Okay. Sorry, my nose is dripping a little bit. That actually seems kind of nice. There are times where I'm like, I don't know which pieces of these gear are what. And I've been playing for a long time, so I kind of vaguely know, like, these pieces go up to, 520, for example, or whatever. So I try to make sure that it's above 500 if I'm going to use it. And then I'll just salvage everything that's below 500. But actually being able to see a bar is quite nice. I think that will definitely take some of the guessing game out and like the double checking, I guess, for me. So that's actually kind of nice. Number 3, Legendary Evolution LR Hero Filter Function. After the introduction of the hero's Legendary Evolution, heroes who have met the condition of Legendary Evolution could be seen in the hero category. However, when there were difficulties in identifying the heroes subject to the Legendary Evolution that had yet to meet the evolution conditions, to improve this inconvenience, we will add a category filter to filter the hero's subjects by the availability of evolution. Okay, so interesting. I'm kind of hoping we get a new LR soon, because we got Galland last, and I think that was roughly like two months ago. Maybe not quite 2 months, but they typically come out with a new LR at the end of each Labyrinth season, or like at the start of a Heroes Arena season. And I think we're on the last week of Heroes Arena right now, or we maybe have one more week left. I'm not 100% on that, but we should be getting a Labyrinth soon. In addition, when activating multiple boss battles, the normal and hell difficulty buttons will be separated to improve visibility. That kind of helps. There has been times where I like accidentally hit the button and I think that I'm on hell, and then I summon a bunch of red and gray demons and I'm like, oh god, now I gotta get rid of these. But for the most part, that's fine. The modification will be made to record team setting information separately, which was not saved when changing devices. Okay, so that's nice as well. We will gradually improve areas of the game that require unnecessarily long playtime and that have been causing inconveniences. We will diligently review our Knight's feedback to incorporate these suggestions consistently. So honestly, all of that stuff sounds pretty good. I have to say, I mean, I know that people want content, want new events, want free rewards and stuff like that, but making sure the game is running smoothly and improving the quality of life features in the game is a really big part, and like just helps consistently make the game feel better. So I like that they're kind of focusing on that recently. Catastrophe chapter update. So this is the big one, since we just talked about the fact that they announced a live stream for a Catastrophe update. A new chapter of the Catastrophes will be released through an update around the beginning of July. It's been a while since the last update, which was followed by multiple main chapter and Ragnarok updates. Now, before the new chapter update, we would like to ask for your understanding in advance and talk about a few things through this dev note. That does not bode well. First, released in March of last year, Sacrifice was a new side story with a story about the 7 catastrophes. Through the hero's explanation and event quest, the background setting that existed has been officially introduced as a new story chapter. Many Knights welcomed the release of the main story, or the main chapter of the 7 catastrophes, and said the story was interesting. However, some also expressed their disappointment at the lack of voiceovers in the story chapter. That is true. Voiceovers do help you kind of like make things better. At the time of development, the production was carried out on the premise that voiceovers would be included. However, due to the scheduling conflicts between the update and the voice actors casting, we were forced to release the update without the voiceovers. Interesting. Okay. The upcoming Sacrifice Chapter 2 will also be released without voiceovers. However, they will be included normally after Chapter 3. We apologize for not showing an immersive story to the Knights who have waited a long time for the chapter update of the 7 catastrophes, and we would like to ask for your understanding in advance. So, I mean, it's good to know that they are going to be adding voice acting in the future. Like I said, it does go a long way in making things feel a lot more immersive and interesting to actually have it voiced. Then again, this game doesn't have English voice acting, so I'm gonna be honest. I skip the I skip the dialogue anyway. I don't. I already only watch dubbed anime as it is, so I don't really, if I'm not gonna understand what they're saying in Japanese anyway, or Korean for if you're on the Korean servers, because the English version, the global version is in Japanese, the Japanese version is in Japanese, and the Korean version is in Korean, which is a bit odd. But I'm not that upset about it. It is what it is. I do think it seems a little weird for it to just be completely silent while it's going through all of that stuff. But I'm glad that they're adding it in the future. However, some of the knights feel like it is important to maintain the content integrity, even if it requires follow-up updates. We reviewed the possibility from various angles, taking into consideration that the content has already been uploaded and how difficult it is to secure additional recordings. It is not trivial. It is not trivial to update or modify chapters that have already been released. However, as of the April survey showed, the story content as well as the catastrophe chapter are the contents our knights anticipate the most. To listen to our knights' voices and to repay their trust and support over the years, we consider that completing the story chapters and ensuring its quality is worth it, even if it's a bit delayed. So we are happy to share that we have scheduled new recordings with the voice actors to complete the previous chapters, and will apply the recordings in the game in the future. Okay, so they're going to go back and add the stuff in the future. I watched Beat's video on it today, and I think he said that they were not going to be doing that, but maybe he just didn't read over the full thing, or he might have been looking at the JP patch notes that got translated, and that typically doesn't go well with Google Translate. So it does seem like they're actually going to go back and add it later, which that kind of sucks for the people who've already done it, because the odds of you going back and actually completing that again just to hear the voice acting, probably not very likely. But for the people who start later or just haven't got to it yet or whatever, that could be nice for them. We will do our best to remake the 7th Catastrophe complete like the other main story chapters. We thank you in advance for your understanding and hope you look forward to the updates. This dev note covered the plan for the new chapter update and some revamped content planned for the beginning of July. Next time we will share more newly developed content and changes to the current content. Okay, this summer is very, very hot, so please take care of your health, and we hope you beat the heat and have a cool time at Grand Cross. We are sending you the best regards from the dev team. Okay, so honestly, I'm kind of happy with it. I know it's nothing like super crazy groundbreaking, but they're talking about, the upcoming catastrophe stuff, which is fine. I don't think that we really got much actual information on that other than there is more coming. They are adding voice acting, which is good. Those are the main points there. But more UI improvements and stuff is great. I really like the 3x speed for some of the longer content. That's going to help a bit, and some of these other quality of life changes are actually really nice as well. That'll just kind of help add to the overall feel of the game. But, like I said, nothing super crazy groundbreaking, but nice changes, are being added. I'm pretty happy with that. So that is pretty much it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts and stuff on the dev notes. I will be live whenever this update or this live broadcast happens in a couple of days, so definitely stay tuned for that. We will definitely be up and streaming. It's going to be early in the morning, and I'm probably going to hate it, but hopefully there's some cool stuff in it. Hopefully we get a new cool catastrophe character. Maybe they'll have a Unity as well, which would be kind of nice, because I feel like Unities have not really been utilized all that much. But then again, that means you need more dupes of the character, and that's also kind of unfortunate. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to subscribe if you have not already, and I will see you guys tomorrow.